Most of us spend our entire lives obsessing about the outcome. We want guarantees. We want certainty. We want to know that all our effort will be worth it. So we cling, we overthink, we force things to happen on our timeline. And in doing so, we squeeze all the joy out of the process. But what if the real secret is to let go? To show up fully, do your part, and trust that what is meant for you will unfold, without gripping, without panic, without constant questioning. This is what it means to detach from the outcome. And when you learn how, life becomes lighter, richer, and more aligned than you ever thought possible. Most people don't realize how much energy they spend trying to control things that were never theirs to control. You think, if I say exactly the right words, this person will stay. If I push hard enough, I can force this opportunity to work. If I never stop hustling, I'll be safe from failure. This is the illusion of control. It feels reassuring in the moment because it gives you a sense of agency. But in reality, it's just fear wearing a mask. When you're attached to the outcome, you micromanage every detail, worry constantly about what might go wrong, lose the ability to enjoy what's happening right now, miss opportunities because you're tunnel-visioned on a single result. Attachment doesn't create safety, it creates anxiety, and it disconnects you from the present moment, the only place where your real power lives. If you grew up in environments where love or security were inconsistent, it's normal to develop an attachment to outcomes. Maybe you learned early on that. You had to perform to be loved. You had to be perfect to be safe. You had to anticipate everyone's needs to avoid abandonment. So you internalized the belief, if I can just get it right, I'll finally feel okay. This belief follows you into adulthood. You start to think that happiness lives in some future moment, some perfect scenario, some milestone that proves your worth. So you cling to relationships, to goals, to timelines, to plans. You make the outcome responsible for your peace. But here's the truth. Nothing outside of you can create lasting safety. You can only build that from within. When you're attached to the outcome, you lose touch with your own power. You stop being guided by intuition and start being driven by fear. You stop enjoying the process and start fixating on whether you're doing it right. You stop living in the present and start postponing your joy until some future benchmark is achieved. This is why so many people burn out, even while chasing goals that once inspired them. They can't relax. They can't trust the unfolding. They can't let go. Outcome obsession creates a life that is heavy, rigid, and exhausting. And ironically, the more you cling, the more you repel the very things you want. Because desperation isn't magnetic. Calm confidence is. Detachment doesn't mean you stop caring. It doesn't mean you give up on your goals. It doesn't mean you become passive or lazy. Detachment means you release your demand that life must look a certain way to feel complete. It means you commit fully to the process while letting go of the need to control how and when the result arrives. It's a shift from, I need this to work or I'll fall apart, to, I will give my best and whatever happens, I will be okay. This is where true freedom begins. Because when you no longer hinge your worth or safety on the outcome, you become unstoppable. Here's the paradox most people don't understand. The less you cling, the more naturally things flow. When you're detached, you take inspired action without desperation. Show up consistently because you love the process, not just the reward. Make better decisions because you're not blinded by fear. Attract people and opportunities who feel your calm certainty. Detachment doesn't weaken your intention, it strengthens it. Because you're no longer spending all your energy on controlling things you can't control. You're focused on the only thing that's ever been in your power, who you're being right now. Most of us have been trained to believe that success is all about arriving, the promotion, the relationship, the follower count, the recognition. But what if the real win is the person you become in the process? When you fall in love with the process, everything shifts. You stop asking, is it working yet? And start asking, how am I showing up today? You stop needing the destination to validate you. You start finding meaning in the act itself. This is why some people can do the same thing for years with quiet joy, because they are anchored in the process, not addicted to the outcome. Detachment isn't a single decision. It's a practice you return to over and over. Here are a few ways to start. Set the intention, then release it. Decide clearly what you want. Write it down, visualize it, and then let it go. Trust that life will meet you halfway in the right time. Focus on inputs, not outcomes. Ask yourself each day, what actions can I take that are in my control? Measure success by your commitment to the process, not just by external results. Pause when you feel yourself gripping. When you notice yourself obsessing, refreshing notifications, replaying conversations, questioning everything, take a breath. Remind yourself, it's safe to let this unfold. Release the timeline. Your vision may be right, but your timeline might not be. Trust that delays are often recalibrations, not rejections. Celebrate progress. Instead of only rewarding the finish line, honor the milestones along the way. Each step is proof that you are growing. When you detach from the outcome, you reclaim an extraordinary sense of freedom. You no longer need everything to go perfectly to feel at peace. You no longer abandon yourself to chase validation. You no longer measure your worth by external markers. Instead, you wake up excited to do what you love, regardless of how fast it grows. Trust that what is meant for you will never miss you. Relax into the present, knowing you are enough now. This is the sweet spot where life starts working with you, not against you. Because when you're no longer desperate for a specific result, you open space for something even better to arrive. You've seen this before, even if you didn't have the words for it. The athlete who plays their best game after they stop overthinking. The creative who finds their unique voice once they stop trying to please everyone. The entrepreneur whose business finally grows when they start focusing on service instead of sales. The person who attracts a healthy relationship when they stop proving they're worthy of love. In all these examples, success didn't come from more effort. It came from releasing the fear and letting the process unfold naturally. If you've been living in a constant state of tension, obsessing about whether it will work, worrying about how you're perceived, needing everything to happen now, this is your reminder. You don't have to force it anymore. You can let go. You can trust yourself. You can fall in love with showing up without needing to guarantee the ending. The outcome is not your job. Your job is the process. If you take nothing else from this message, remember this. Detachment is not giving up. It's giving over. It's surrendering the parts you can't control and showing up fully for the parts you can. When you do this, you'll discover something incredible. Life has a way of working itself out when you stop trying to control every detail. Opportunities flow to you when you're not desperate for them. People respect you more when you respect yourself enough to release the grip, let go, trust the process, detach from the outcome, and watch what happens next. If this message resonated with you, it's time to reclaim your energy. Detach from the outcome. Fall in love with the process. And remember, you are already whole. If you're ready to think sharper, feel deeper, and move with clarity, subscribe to the channel. We don't chase here, we become. Welcome to the Quiet Edge.